We have more card reveals. They just keep coming. We are going to get into it here. Blackrock Enroll, a warrior legendary spell. It's a fire spell. 5 mana. Give all minions in your deck attack and health equal to their cost. Okay. I honestly kind of feel like this is a meme card. But the one spot that I do kind of see this that could be really interesting is with taunts. This maybe makes Taunt Warrior more viable. Those are going to be very large taunt minions. Pretty solid, right? Like there's a lot of 5, 6, 7, 8 cost taunts that, okay, they're 5/5s then, and then there's a lot of synergies with taunts where you'll be able to double it or make copies. I don't know. This could be something. Just my instinct, though, is that this is kind of a meme, but we'll see. It's a fun card, though. I do like it, and it's pretty interesting being a fire spell, so there are a couple of synergies there, too. But I will say, again, as I mentioned in my previous video as well, with cards like this, where it's a legendary and it kind of feels like you are trying to hit this certain card to get your synergies and get that payoff, it can suffer from consistency issues. So even though this does seem cool and maybe it's played, you're going to have to make sure that you draw this and then play it. And there's only the one copy since it's a legendary. So it does feel like it will lead to a little bit of inconsistent play. But since this one's actually a fire spell, there might be ways to specifically draw this from your deck by specifically drawing a spell. Or if you can specifically draw a fire spell or something, then it could be a little bit more consistent. And then we have the amazing DJ Mana Storm, the mage legendary here, 10 mana, 8/8, battle cry, set the cost of spells in your hand to 0. After you cast one, the others cost 1 more. So really, really interesting. This can come down on turn 10, and essentially your first spell that turn would then cost 0. So you could do that. And the cool thing that I like about this card is that effect of making them kind of reduced will stay throughout following turns, right? So it's not just setting that cost during the turn you play DJ Mana Storm, which would be ridiculous because you really would only get to play that one spell, and then what's the point of having all the other ones at that? So the effect lasting more than the turn you play this, very powerful. The artwork and just the theme of Millhouse Mana Storm being this like cool DJ is just hilarious. Big payoff though, big payoff. And if there's some really powerful like late game spells, we saw this with Big Spell Mage previously, and a lot of those big spells that will be rotating out of standard, but those spells being able to be costed to 0 or being recasted had a lot of impact. So I do imagine that based on how decks are built, this one actually probably will be pretty good. And he comes with a decent body, so it's not bad. And then we had a really awesome, great video showcasing some Demon Hunter cards by Super Blind Man, which was fantastic. Definitely, I'll link that below. Go check it out. But we have 4 cards here. So we have first the legendary spell here, Going Down Swinging. It's a 5 mana spell. There's no spell school attached to it. Give your hero +2 attack and immune this turn, then attack each enemy minion. Very, very interesting. If you already have a weapon equipped, you could obviously have a more powerful effect there, more attack, but you are immune, so at least you're dealing some damage. It's only attacking the enemy minions, so you don't get a swing at face. I would also guess that when this attacks, you probably will lose any weapon durability along the way while this attacks, so gonna have to watch that. But still pretty interesting effect, and being immune also just makes that fantastic. There is some lifesteal stuff that we're going to talk about here, so that could be a huge benefit. This could help set up for other removal. Really a lot of setup. The one kind of interesting thing too is that, again, the hero cards are leaving standard. So you won't have this synergy of like having a ton of attacks and then being able to play that hero Cartris and have really powerful demons with Rush. But this still could be very, very solid in the right circumstance. So definitely curious to see that. It is only a legendary, so you're only going to have one, which, you know, means that you're only going to get this big, powerful swing once. So it might be harder to set up a full kind of combo turn or big swing turn, but I think that still could be pretty solid. Now, some of that lifesteal I mentioned here, we have Eye of Shadow. It's a 2-mana, 2/3 demon that says your hero has lifesteal. Giving your hero lifesteal while this is out on the board does seem pretty great. It doesn't have the greatest body, so it's probably going to be fairly easy to kill off, but it does have that demon tag, which I also think is pretty interesting. And maybe there's some sort of buffs you could do to try to make this bigger, or you can maybe use some of those neutrals, like the neutral minion that gives a minion stealth. You could play Eye of Shadow and give it stealth, so your opponent has to find a different way of killing it off, so that your hero can maintain that lifesteal aura. Could be something. It's a lot of cards, but definitely going to be interesting to see how people want to maintain that hero having lifesteal. Then next up, we have Instrument Smasher, a 4-mana 3/6 with whenever your weapon is destroyed, equip a random Demon Hunter weapon. This one's really interesting. I feel like in the past, when it's equipping random stuff, typically it feels like kind of whatever. But with the effects of being able to utilize a lot of attacks, you might not really care what the weapon is, as long as you just have a weapon to keep attacking and keep getting added attack, potentially with extra lifesteal. Maybe you just don't even care what the weapon is. That was the case with the questline Pirate Warrior. Once you completed that quest and you played the Rakara, got the Juggernaut, you usually didn't care what your weapon was. It was just equipping you a random weapon every turn. That was just fine. So if this is an effect very similar, then maybe it's great. The only kind of downside is, again, a lot of these cards are just aura type effects. Like, they're only going to be in effect when this card is on the board. So if your opponent kills this, then your weapon is destroyed. You don't get a replacement. That does seem like a bit of a downside, but it does have 6 health, so maybe it's going to be a little bit more difficult to clear off. And then, of course, we have a weapon. This is the instrument weapon here for the class, Glavetar. It is a 4-mana, 4-attack, 2 durability. With Death Rattle, draw 1 card. Play Outcast cards while equipped to improve. So you will increase the amount of cards that you will draw on that Death Rattle effect. Seems pretty solid, and honestly, just a 4-attack weapon is pretty sweet. 4 mana, 4 attack, and you get at least 1 card draw out of it. Seems honestly fantastic. I would absolutely play this, even without playing Outcast cards to improve it. Like, just a 4-attack weapon you can swing a couple of times and then get a card draw seems magnificent. And again, thank you to everybody who has been helping support this channel. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. And if we can get to that 1,000 subscribers by the end of March 29th, it is 1 week away from this video, then I will be giving away a mega bundle. So please, please share this with others. Get them to follow and subscribe and check these videos out as well. Greatly, greatly appreciate that. Giving the videos thumbs up helps spread it to other people as well. So more likely that we will build up that subscribers. And stay tuned. Once we know core set information, I will be giving out information on how to submit a theory-crafted deck to appear in some of my videos, and also at a chance for you to win a Tavern Pass reward track for the new expansion as well. Thank you so much for checking this out. And if you haven't already, go ahead and check out my latest video talking about the other cards that were revealed as well. See you on the next one.